Today we are going to see a different aspect of Praveen Varalkar, and that is related to the personal life and the lessons that he has learned. So, Praveen, I'm really curious because I remember you were saying continuously that 17 years of marriage, Dolly was there, and you learned a lot of lessons. You were a different person. You felt hollow, like lot of dots were scattered. I want to know from you your perspective or experience of relationship then and now.
Romantic relationship.
Yes, with your
Relationship
partner.
with Dolly.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm very precisely telling you my relationship with Dolly. For that, you need
Yes.
to understand how she came in my life.
Exactly. The
right?
beginning of it
The
and how the
beginning.
process
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Yes.
So for that, you need to understand what kind of person or what kind of child I was.
Okay.
So to help you to understand, the easiest way to observe or analyze your childhood is your mark sheet. As a child, how many marks? You're always being evaluated on your marks. As an adult, you're always being evaluated on your bank balance.
Okay.
Imagine 10 mothers sitting together and one mother says, my son is doing extremely well or my daughter is doing extremely well. Next question is how much he's earning.
And then
No,
with
he doesn't
school.
earn. He doesn't earn anything, but he's doing extremely well. Doesn't make any sense. You getting a point?
Yeah.
So that's the two yardstick. So as a child, I failed in 9th standard. Now, why it is important to tell you why? Because every school, they are very particular about their 10th standard results because there's a board exam, external evaluation, and that actually determines the credibility of that school. So all those kids who are not good and they know they are not going to clear and spoil the school result, they keep it in 9th. I was the chosen one. So I just stayed there.
Okay.
As a child, you lose all your friends because I was in first standard from the start. They don't understand this, that the child is losing all the friends which he has made or she has made for last 9 years. They don't understand the psychology of the child. He will be alone. They don't understand all this. The education system, right? It is emotionless. It's driven by numbers, grades. One day my child said, Dad, he was in 8th or 9th, he said, in maths I got only 18. I said, okay. Out of? He said 50. I said, okay. I said, who is the highest scorer? He said, XYZ. I said, how much he has got? 21. I said, okay. I'm second, Dad. I said, okay. Your perspective changes towards a number with the story. Numbers are meaningless. You're getting a point. So I failed and somehow I could able to clear my 10th standard. Even in 9th standard, when I failed for the first attempt, I ran to Mumbai from Nasik. That's a different story. We'll not talk today, right now, at this point of time. But I was that kind of child, a spoiled child. I don't remember even a single moment in my life where I can close my eyes and I can visualize that someone is teaching me in the class. I was never attentive, never mindful. I was always lost in my thoughts. Why? When you will go in a childhood, we will understand that. Why? But I see there are lots of cases in life like this. There's a difference between staying alone and feeling alone. One might feel alone even in the middle of the crowd. So I was that kind of child. So in 10th standard, when I got maybe 40s or 50s, unexpected, pass, I still try to, and I will try to find the person who has checked my maths paper, because when I calculated the numbers after appearing the exam, no chance. Even if I calculate all the problems I solved in that paper, and accumulation was not more than 35. So blessed with that person, because that one failure in education would have taken a completely different turn in my life. Because my dad was very clear, if you are not clearing your 10th standard, you're done. You're gone. Then 11, somehow after 10th standard, when I got passed, I got intense inspiration from my mother. So there are two types of mothers on the planet Earth, at least in India. One who sacrifices everything for the child. And one, they don't have to do it. For example, in case of Dolly, she doesn't have to sacrifice her life for Arnav, right? She doesn't have to leave the job for Arnav. She was supported. All was managed. So her personal life and professional life was not impacted by child. But in my mama spent all her life in the kitchen. I remember for the first time I took my mama for a solo trip just a few years ago. I said, when was the last time you visited some places alone? And 11th standard, my mama inspired me. She said that, see, Praveen, if you are not studying, if you are not taking science, you are not going to get good job, you are not going to get good girl, study. I got inspired. I said, I will take science. So I got admission in one college. So that college is one of the biggest colleges in Nasik. I was in Nasik. And biggest means what? It's like from tomorrow 11th standard is going to start and you're struggling to get admission, that college will give you admission. They are open for everyone. Doesn't matter how much marks you have. You have to just sign some checks. So fortunately, my father took some help from someone and they paid. And I got admission in 11th standard. Now, realistically, what happened that I was in CBSC, right? And 11th standard I did from Pune University. So CBSC is a little difficult. Even though I was not understanding anything, but it was difficult. Here it was looking simple, and you have that notion in your mind that you are from CBSE, CBSE, CBSE. I started studying, trying, and I started raising hands in the class. And then one day I raised the hand for the answer, and I realized that people are noticing me. After 1.5 months in the college in 11th standard, suddenly one girl came in the class, short, curly hairs, wearing black color tight T-shirt and jeans. Nasik is like always sober. Still in Nasik is like boy and girls talking together. There's something wrong. They are cooking something. Still Nasik is like that only. Something is wrong. So yeah, some kind of relationship is there. That's Nasik still date, and lots of small places still date in India. That's a culture. That point of time, the first thing which I did when I went to 11th standard, I joined the group of people who are just like me, abusive, smoking, eating gutkas. I never abused in my life before that. I never smoked in my life before that. I never ate gutka before that. But I had curiosity because I was in the school which was in the army, Indian Army. Like my dad was in the army earlier, so it was in the artillery center. So very confined and very managed. But when I saw her, I said I have to impress her. So first thing which I have to do is leave that gang and join the good people.
Okay.
And then I made a group of good people. She came there and she impressed. And then on the last day of 11th standard, she proposed to me on the last day. And that's how we started the relationship. Dating was not the word in my dictionary. Only word was date, which is khajur. So dating was never in my dictionary. And then we started meeting. We did 12 together. And then after 12th standard, she went back to Mumbai because she came from Mumbai. She's a Mumbai girl. But unfortunately, her parents were not able to manage her education finances in Mumbai. And they got some hostel which is very subsidized and college which is very subsidized. And that's how we met. And the foundation of the relationship was, I think, from a Dolly's point of view, which I still validate when we sit together, that you fall in love with me only because I was good. I was scholar. I was studying. I got 98% in 11th standard. I was first in my college. What do you mean when I was just doing one thing, ratification? Only is like, oh, study, only to impress that girl. Okay? So I was first in my college. And then she went back to Mumbai and she started working in Glaxo. I started working in Cipla after the graduation. So she did microbiology. I did my graduation in pharmacy, Loni. And those 4 years were like, first 3 years were nothing. But suddenly I got a letter. I got a phone first. And those days were all landline phone. It's like they used to shout, Praveen Vadalkar, room number 201. Coming down, we started speaking. We started writing letters to each other. And then I remember first time coming to Mumbai during those 4 years of my graduation. That's the first time we met in Mumbai. And then after a few days, we realized that when we were 24, 25, that, okay, we both are good. We both are working. We both are responsible. We both complement each other. We don't support each other. We complement each other. Relationship exists or can optimize only when we complement each other, not support each other. I remember one day we were all traveling. My dad was sitting behind and Dolly was sitting here. Mom was here, Nana was here. And my dad said, Praveen, you are very lucky that you have got a very supportive wife. I said, no, she's not supporting me. We're complementing each other. There's a difference. Understand that. She's different. She's a different mountain. I'm a different mountain. Understand that. So our whole foundation was based upon that. Productivity. That's the reason when I collapsed financially, foundation smashed. That, hey, you projected the image in front of me. The image which I created, the Praveen is like productive, scholar, and I do nothing. There's a conflict here psychologically. You don't connect like this, but it happens, right? So foundation got shaken there. I met her very early in my life, almost when, 17, 18 years old. And then we started the journey. We decided to marry at the age of 25. We got Arnav at the age of 26, right? Within first year of our life. And then she was climbing her corporate ladder. I was climbing the corporate ladder. Almost for 10 years we did that. We started career together, 2001. 2011 we decided to quit the job together. We started the business. We launched a Kaiser. And then we started our entrepreneurship journey. Now in entrepreneurship journey, there's a difference between if you're working alone and if you're working with your romantic partner. There's a hell lot of difference there. You have a lot of boundaries when you are two co-founders or husband and wife, or maybe any kind of relationship. There will be some kind of relationship-driven dynamics there, right? Compared to different people coming together. She's a completely different leader. Now, why? Understand that. Her upbringing in corporate was what? Glaxo, Glenmark, Aristo Pharma. This is a different leadership model in the industry. My upbringing was what? Only Cipla. I started with Cipla, 3 years sales. I came to Mumbai. I was the first boy who was selected from a small city in product management, most of the time from big cities, but I did something in sales. I was doing well. And in product management, you get a chair in that office. And my chair was very close to Mr. Hamid, who is from the founding family of Cipla. So YK Hamid and MK Hamid. So MK Hamid is sitting in London, but YK Hamid, Yusuf Hamid, is handling the Indian business. And he is like 70, 75 years old man. And I was sitting close to him. And he's just sitting just few seats away from me, open culture. And what? I'm listening everything. When he's speaking to the leaders, I'm listening. It was MBA for me for 10 years almost. I was there almost for 10 years.
Wow.
So my whole foundation of business, a foundation of understanding of business marketing was highly influenced by Cipla culture, which is, Cipla culture is, don't look like this, open up. It's like whole day we are brainstorming, debating, discussing with Mr. Hamid, and next day morning he comes and says, let's start from the scratch. That's how Mr. Hamid is. Now, when there's a difference in leadership, now if you're not working together, this difference in leadership doesn't make conflict at home. But as a leader, you have to take decisions. She has a different leadership style. That's the reason in 2017 I said that you handle it in your way. So I started Speak and Grow. That's the synopsis of our professional journey till date. So right now, she is the CEO of the Kaiser. I am not doing it, but at the same time, in last 3 years, the way I've worked on me with the help of, mainly in my mental space, she has worked on her body. She's a sub 4 hours full marathon runner. She's a podium runner in runs, hell run like a Ratong. I was volunteering there in a Ratong run. She was a podium in open category. It's like running there in Himalayas.
Wow.
Different. Today she is in Ladakh. She's running 72 kilometers in Khardungla, and she is expecting podium there. So she has worked on her body in last 3 years. Why? Because why it is important for me to mention, because if you see her family, her mother is like 110 kg, her sister is like almost in 80s and 90 kg. Obesity is the signature of that family. She's working. She's working on her body. And what else on you can work upon? Apart, do you have anything apart from your body? The body is the temple. So when you go from a difficult time, I think one of the most important things which you learn is your body. So she has worked on her body the way I've worked on my psychology in last few years.
This is fabulous. So during that phase, like you were mentioning, the dynamics needs to be different.
Yeah.
Typically, when a couple is running a company, could you shed some light on that? What are the things people need to keep in mind
Okay.
when they are running a company together?
Right. The most important thing, you have to understand who is the decision maker. Who is the ultimate decision maker?
So only one person needs to be there.
The decision maker has to be one person only, always. That's the leader. That's it. You cannot have two swords, in one container. It's not possible. If you want to lead the organization, they need the leader. They need the decision maker. So sometimes it fires back, because sometimes people might say that Sir ne aisa bola tha, he said something like this, you are saying something like this. It's difficult. It's difficult. And as I told you that she's a very dominating in nature. When I say dominating, it's just a character. I don't have a negative connotation or negative attachment with this word dominating.
Yeah,
That's
every
it.
people,
That's how she
yeah.
is.
So
She's output
many
of her
people
childhood.
understand that dominating is bad. No, not
No,
always.
nothing is
It's
bad.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
just a word.
Yeah.
I understand from her childhood that dominating is the nature of that girl. And I respected that. So you have to understand your partner, especially if you're a romantic partner. You have to understand, number one, the character of that partner, number one. Number two, there are only two ways of building professional career. Either you are an executor, either you are good in execution, or you are good in thinking process. That is creativity. It is difficult to find both the skills in one person. She is an amazing executor. The most difficult time for any entrepreneur is when you have to get the work done from the employees and you are not able to give salaries on time. I have seen her speaking with employees or speaking with her team member on the peak of her voice. In a good way, I'm saying, with authority. And I feel that if I don't give salary, I don't have rights to say. But she said, no, Praveen. Just because 1 month I'm not giving salary, that doesn't mean that they have to compromise in their ethics or in the culture. No, not at all. They will get it. No one will lose money. They will get it. I know they will get it. So I can't compromise in work. She's a different metal. Absolutely different metal. I always say you deserve something better than me. Absolutely different metal. And I'm so happy with this COVID. It's just like when you take that corn bhutta and you burn it on the fire, that time it becomes edible. You have to burn yourself. COVID has given that amazing opportunity to burn ourselves. Find who you are, what kind of metal you are. She's a different metal.
Wow. So you said one has to be the decision maker.
One has to be decision maker. Second, you have to understand the childhood, the personality. If you don't understand the childhood,
The different natures, basically the personality
if you don't
types,
understand the
yeah.
childhood of your partner, you don't understand your partner. You don't understand. You cannot say childhood is the past. No, you are the output of your childhood. Right? Childhood is 17 to 18 years here. Come on. That is the content of your consciousness. That's shaping your personality.
Yeah.
So that is second. You have to understand if you really want to work together. Third, or one more I would say, which is very important if husband and wife are working together, is it's very difficult because of the culture of India. It's very difficult for a wife when she observed that other girls from that organization are becoming a little close or talking. You always have that notion. And as a wife, she's a wife ultimately. So you always have that notion that why she's talking. You always get that bug, even though you don't think very serious about it.
So
But you always have that bug. I observe
it's also
this.
both ways. Or are you saying only gender
Not
related?
from my side. It's like I never.
In your
had-
case, it happened.
In my
but
case,
generally, it's not the case. It's your personal experience.
I will give
Okay.
an example. It's like one girl was there. She was there from the genesis. She was there from the start, and I was very close to that girl. When I say I was close, not physically close, but emotionally close, professionally close. And then I realized that no, I could see during the conversation at home that she's not comfortable with this. So, and I have seen this kind of problem, especially because of the culture of this country towards marriage and sex. It's very easy because she's also the output of the culture only. Her mother also said that, no, take care of your husband and the rest of it. You're getting a point. So even that problem is there. But if you find a dynamic relationship and husband and wife both are potential, both are syncing with each other, it's always best to have your partner as a co-founder because you keep all the shares.
That's smart.
You keep all the
That's
shares.
smart,
All
yeah.
the shares. So we, even though 75% we have and 25% we have the investor shares, but still we're holding 75% of that company. both.
That is great. So, with respect to this, let's say when the company was, running, everything was running, and then you started your Speak and Grow, etc. How did it impact, or whenever you were making decisions professionally in Techaiser as well, how did you manage in the personal life and professional life? How was your communication different in your personal life and professional life?
See, I don't even agree to the very premises or foundation of this question. There's nothing called personal life and professional life. Life is life.
Okay.
If you say that in office I will behave like this and at home I will behave like this, it's a drama. That's drama.
So you mean to say that professionally, let's say she is the co-founder, and the way she's making the decisions or anything that you are making the decisions, so when you're speaking to the person, you're speaking as a co-founder, but when you're speaking at home, you're speaking to your wife. That is what I meant as a
That
context.
doesn't decide. The agenda decides whether I'm
Okay,
working.
so you are based on
Absolutely.
the agenda for
decides.
you. Okay.
The agenda, the quality of conversation decide whether this conversation is from husband or from the co-founder.
That is what the point was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is, with whom I'm speaking? Whether I'm speaking with Dolly, wife, or the co-founder. You have to be very mindful when you're speaking with your romantic partner. That's the one relationship which is like your relationship with mother is very easy because you have lived with her 24 hours, including 9 months inside. Your relationship with your romantic partner is very bizarre and difficult because you have never lived with her 24 hours before the marriage. You get my point? So you have to be very mindful when you are, which is highly ignored. It's like people don't think about what they're speaking with their romantic partners. They're not mindful about it.
So when your son was there, so
Yeah.
I think he also started trekking and mountaineering and everything, correct? If I'm not wrong.
My son, he did his first 5 kilometer when he was 9 years old. My son
Wow.
did first Himalayan trek when he was 10 years old. He went to Brigu Lake. And he went along with the adults. He was a only child, and he did the peak. Then we also sent him to HMI for a mini course. Yeah. So, and we are blessed with Sahyadri Ghats in Mumbai. So he has done several tracks, including the tallest track here, which is Cultivate. So yeah, he has spent good time in mountains.
So with respect to that, at such a young age, like, what has been your parenting experience? I mean, a lot of people will not leave their kids like, okay, go to Himalayas, go to this, go to that. Because you guys have been an experienced trekkers and mountaineers, was it easy for you, or you had some other thoughts? Like, what has been your parenting experience?
Of course, easy because I am a HMI A grade certified, level 1.
HMI full form
Himalayan
is...
Mountaineering
Okay,
Institute.
yeah.
It's an Indian Army institute where they teach mountaineering. I am a A grade level 1 certified. Dolly is level 2 certified.
Wow.
Yeah, which is very tough, right? So we understand the importance of mountaineering, which has helped us from a different way. I was a very liberated boy since childhood. It's like even when I ran from my home when I failed in 9th standard. After 12th standard, my parents asked me to go to Mumbai to give that AFMC test. I just playing with it, never studied. But in the train, I realized, or I was thinking about it at that age, that what kind of confidence they have in me is like that this boy ran, and I'm traveling alone, so I'm always liberated, and I thought I have to give same back to my child. So I don't remember asking him what you will do and this and that. He's a physicist. I remember in Dharamshala, during those 8 months, I called him once. I said several times, but I called him once, and then I said, Arnav, I have surrendered the whole concept of time. He said, Dad, you have surrendered the unit of time. You have not surrendered the concept of time. Time and space is physics. I said, okay, sir.
Okay, that
He is
makes
smart.
sense, yeah.
He is smart. He is smart. Why? When Dolly conceived him, I think from second year, he was like in daycare. She started moving, not even second year, after just few months, she rejoined, And he's very liberated with people since childhood. Number one. Number two, as a parenting, as a father, not as a, because she has played a different role, I have played a different role. We are two different people. Second thing which I have really contributed in his life is to overcome the fear of English. I don't remember speaking with that boy till the age of 11 and 12 in any other language. If you want to speak to me, speak with English. Speak in English. Otherwise, don't speak. So that whole has helped him. That's the reason he now rap in English. And he raps such a, I don't understand, what are you saying? Yeah, not even a single word I have understood what you are singing. So that I really feel that I've really contributed. Other thing which I've contributed, I remember I was smoking at home, and Dolly told me, Praveen, you smoke, that's okay, but make sure that birds and all, you keep it aside. It's like, it's not fair. Your child is watching, and the child is like 12, 13 years old now. He's a big boy now. So I got an opportunity of sitting with him. We never sit all three together for conversation. We can chill together, but conversation has to be between two people. So I was just, so he was alone. I knocked the door. He was alone. He was sitting on the bed, Arnav. And I said, Arnav, I want to share something with you. He said, what, Dad? I said, I smoke. He said, I know. I said, I know you know, but I want to share with you. I don't want to entertain that thought in my mind that I'm hiding something from you. So we have one very good ritual at our place that every month, at least once, we all three go out and change the space and have good drinks or food in good proper restaurant. So he was just hardly 11, 12. I was in 9th standard. And we were sitting together. Dolly was sitting here, Anna was sitting here, I was sitting here in Jugheads. And the ritual is that you have to share one secret which you could not able to share with each other because of XYZ reason. Maybe you're busy, maybe you didn't get the time, or you hide it, XYZ reason. And we all were sharing the secrets, and Arnav shared the secret that, Dad, I have a girlfriend. I said, okay. But Dolly got shocked. It's a culture shock. 9th standard boy. And he was a little scared. And I said, okay, wait a minute. How many friends do you have? He said, I have 6 to 7 friends. How many of boys? I said, yes. How many of these 6 to 7 boys have girlfriend? He said, all have, sir. All have. I said, not a surprise. 12, 13 years. Dolly was little hesitant. Little hesitant. I said, wait, Dolly, wait. In which year this film Rosa got released? And then we calculated, we saw the year. And then said, in that year, what was my age? My age was 12 to 13 years old. Even I was looking for a girl in that. Come on. It's natural. You're going to think about these conversations are important in family.
Okay, that's really interesting.
That's parenting till the age of 16 and 17. Now, is like, now she's in Kardungla. I am traveling, right? It's not necessary for me, even though if I'm in Bombay, it's not necessary for me to go to home. You can manage alone. But one thing which we have made it very clear to him that I will give you 2 options when you will complete your. Now he's preparing for JE this year. He's in 12th standard now. And I said, I will give you 2 options once you complete your 12th standard or graduation. Whenever you will need money, 2 options. A, parents, we support. B, I take a proper educational loan. Because I will have that pressure on my head that I have to complete it. And I will see which option you will choose. If you want money, I can give it to you. If you want loan, I will see what option you will choose there.
That's interesting.
So when he was not a very scholar, but in 10th he got 94%. Right? And 11th, when we decided to go for a counseling for JE, me, Dolly and Arnav together, we all came out and he asked, Dad, can I do it? I said, yes, brother, you can. I know. And he's doing good now. He's in toppers now. He's doing good. So I'm proud of my boy.
So coming to the point that you mentioned that you never spoke with him in anything other than English till 12 or 13 years of age. Now, based on how, generally parenting is considered and typically of the keeping the tradition in mind, you never thought that your kid should learn your mother tongue, or maybe not the mother tongue, but at least the local language or something like that.
There are 10,000 languages on the planet Earth, ma'am.
So you never taught him or anything like that?
There are 10,000. I don't see any, even even this amount of pride when I speak in my mother tongue. It's given to me. I have not created it. Something which has been given to me, I can't feel proud about it.
So
I
he
can't feel
never had challenged in the locality or anything when he
what
was not able
child.
to
He's good in
speak.
English. He's good in Hindi. What's wrong?
Okay, so he learned Hindi during that phase
Everyone has to
itself.
learn Hindi. Everyone is speaking in Hindi.
Okay, okay.
Hindi is the default language, right?
Because the notion is, and also like at least the region that you are in, you need to learn that
Hindi.
language. Or
If I'm in
yeah,
South, I can
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
South, the reason why South people are so growing in their life because they still have their mother tongue, which ensures that there is a less miscommunication. You're getting a point. Other part of the India, we are not allowed to speak in our mother tongue. We are forced to speak in English. How can you be expressive in the language which you are not comfortable with? You take South industry, film industry, take any industry from South. They are growing, they are doing better. Take the airports from the South, they are doing better. Take films from the South, they are doing better. Why? Communication is good. Local language. They understand the word, understand the feelings. We don't understand the word, we understand the feeling, the energy from the word.
And what about, let's say, when you say the local languages, India is a diverse culture with a very rich culture, history, experiences that has been there on the land. So there are so many thousands of languages. So when you say that communication only grows when you know the local language, so if a person has to know the local language,
So he knows the local language.
then how many? Like,
He
is there
knows
any?
all his friends speaking in Hindi. No one speaks Marathi.
Got it.
No one speaks Marathi. I speak in Marathi only because my childhood was in Maharashtra.
Hmm.
He understands Marathi,
Got
but
it.
he's not fluent in Marathi. Understands? Never spoken. How can you become fluent in a language which you have never used it?
Interesting. So now coming to that aspect of, going through sailing through the journey, and you went to Himalayas, and you also spoke before that they understood. You wanted to leave, they understood, they supported that decision. After coming back, or what was his reaction, or what was his, behavior, or anything changed after you came back as a changed person? So anything you observed?
So second year, I invited both of them to Himalayas. The retreat center which I created in Leta, I invited them. When they saw, when they experienced, I remember he was sitting there and we was creating a windmill. He loved physics, so the sticks and all. So that changed the perspective. Otherwise, it was very difficult for them to visualize that what exactly dad is doing there, or my husband is doing there. But that changed their perspective. But before that also, when I left from here, he knew that me and Dolly were fighting like hell. Many times, unfortunately, I had to invite him to mediate because he's a good boy, he's a wise boy. I remember she was fighting very extremely, and then he came and he said, "Mom, only one rule, Mom. Validate whether you have really understood the point the way dad understand that point." Because many times I have seen even dad is saying that you are considering your assumptions as truth and then you are reacting. But it was not all that. It was all stress and the pressure in her head, or even in my head.
So it was during that
and
time?
During the difficult
Okay.
time.
Right.
So 3 years of first year, second year, very difficult time. So and he said to me, "Dad, speak calmly." So I was very loud in all my conversation with Dolly. The reason behind this anger, if I go back to my childhood, this anger is the energy of slum, the energy of chaos. I belong to that place. My dad is the most angriest person I've seen on my planet Earth. He has not spoken to his own mother for 10 years just because he was angry. All my life, my mother used to say me that, "Don't do this, otherwise dad will get angry, 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 angry." It took me time to heal that he is my dad. I'm different from my dad. I cannot carry forward that anger. It took me time in my sabbatical to understand that and detach that anger from me. And all my friends during childhood, not even a single line without the abusive words. All the 17 years, not even a single time I use the abusive words in my family, in front of my family. But now if I go with my friends, that's the lingo within the friends. But suddenly when you are angry, you lose. And I started abusing. Now, abusing is the last thing she wanted from me. Imagine a girl who has seen a abusive life with the friends like I have seen, which is the relationship with abusive words is just a conversation, fun. For her, no. Maybe in her family, not maybe. When I came to know that in her family, her grandfather or maybe some other members were very abusive, so that's a trigger there. You're getting a point. You're so already burning because of this tiny little virus and the pressure created, the financial pressure and everything. And the most important person in your life is abusing, not respecting you. That's very complex energy there.
So your son actually handled
He
the
handled. He
situation
handled
wisely.
wisely.
Okay.
So
So now coming to that aspect of, you went through the divorce and you said you both maturely and peacefully, decided to go gracefully, decided to go for it. What would you share here as your learning for all the people who are going through this rough patch or whatever the situation is, and how to handle that between two people?
understand the whole concept of marriage first, right? The whole genesis of marriage is like in very many years ago, there was a king. There was a king and a very small territory and one girl that king has. And there was another king, very big territory, and one boy. So this king was smart. He said, just to ensure that this will not or should not maybe any kind of war or conflicts, to avoid that, he decided that, okay, my girl, your boy, so we become one family. The name we have given to this is called marriage. Marriage in India is a complete disaster. The concept itself is a complete disaster. If you ask me, one thing which is really dragging India down is the concept of marriage, not the marriage. Not Australian marriage or marriage in US. That's different. I'm talking about the Indian marriage culture here. It's really taking the country down. Why? This I realize in Himalayas. Understand why. Take any animal on the planet Earth. Any animal. They move in space. There's no animal on the planet Earth. They just lie like this. Even snail moves. They move in the space, right? Every animal on the planet Earth, they move only for two things. One, food. Second, sex. Food, survival. Sex, survival of the species. If now we say that all the human beings, they decide together that we are not going to have baby for next 100 years, we're gone. All the people who are currently 100 years, we are gone. We're gone. No new babies. Correct? Now, there is a difference between the way we look towards marriage and the way we look towards sex, which is very clean and clear in US culture. In US culture, after the marriage, if boy says that, or girl says this after the marriage, that, okay, I had an affair before the marriage, they said, okay, that's your past. In India, no. Who was that boy? There will be a little bug, both sides, there will be a little bug, a seed, that he was not mine. Indian marriage is your 100% mine.
So it's like you are saying it's more of a generalized concept because there are always exceptions. There are always a handful of people who are
Culture
different.
is not decided by a handful of people, ma'am. Culture is
So it's
decided
the
by
generalized
the
one you are talking
generalized,
about. Okay.
general people is the culture. It's not by specific awakened people or this. No, I'm talking about what is happening out of 8 out of 10 people. Right? What has happened now? What is marriage in India? Marriage in India is that unless and until I don't marry, I cannot have sex. Something which is the most important thing for every species. You have a big no there. You cannot have sex with someone unless and until she is your legal wife. That's the culture we see. Now, the problem with this culture is that something which is naturally required, you have a question mark. Come to Dharamshala or come to mountains, you will see lots of Indian coming just to see girls. I remember I was sitting in one cafe called Raku's and they were chilling and drinking, and then one boy came to me and he said, "एक Israeli कर दो ना please." मैंने साथ में दाल मखनी भी कर दूं क्या? What do you mean by that? So this whole desperation looking towards a girl as a product which I can consume is because lack of opportunities of sex because of the marriage culture in India. Getting a point?
Not talking freely of what it is as it is. Just putting, bondages and things,
The
pressurizing.
manual.
Yeah.
The manual. Don't marry intercaste girl. Mine is intercaste. Ours is intercaste girl. Marriage. Don't marry intercaste. Wear like this. Won't wear like. Don't wear. All this is from the culture. So boys, girls, I have no idea what they think about this, because understand, we came from chimpanzees. Chimpanzees were our early primate ancestors. If you see the chimpanzees family, guy who is the alpha feels that all girls are mine, I can have sex with all the girls. So all the girls will try to impress alpha. That's the reason all the men, they feel that I should have sex with all the boys, the reality. All the girls, the reality. The men always feel that I should have sex with all the girls. That's a natural feeling. We stop that natural feeling, that makes us human. We don't feel like that, that's unhuman. That's an animal, we're animal. But we still control that and we say, okay, that's wrong, that's not, that's human, that's humanity. Correct? So, marriage is a wrong concept in India. It needs huge reformation. In what sense? In the sense of, before the marriage, I think it's very important for boy and girl to sit together, build some quality conversations, understand each other, spend a lot of time, and then understand whether we are really syncing with each other or not, number one. Number two, after the marriage, they have to really openly talk about the sex. Because if you are not sexually satisfied, which is a basic need in marriage, how many girls and boys after marriage they talk about sex? No, not at all. So it's very important that marriage is important. I'm not denying there's a beautiful relationship, two energies coming together and explode. And they do something which is worth doing it. Beautiful. But you cannot challenge the nature. It's impossible. Can't do that. It's like animals are traveling millions and millions of miles. The fish are swimming millions and millions of miles. You are not different from animals. We are the animal. You can challenge that. So it has to be changed. You cannot say under the blanket of culture, no, this is the Indian culture. Culture has to change. Who has made the culture? You and me. It has to change.
So, in short, people who are going through the phase of separation, etc., what, advice or...
No advice. Every marriage is unique. No advice. There's no
anything that you would like to share that they need to handle, or
they
what
need to understand their childhood. They need to understand each other. They need to talk. There is no one medicine which I can give it to one child, and then all child getting good score. No, every marriage is unique. It's like just like your thumbprint is not unique. Everything is unique. Every marriage is a different story. So there is no single advice which can solve the problem. It doesn't happen in reality.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and, most importantly, the stories of a common man, right? And the experiences. So that's all for today, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.